The Philippines is home to one of the world's highest concentrations of skyscrapers, ranking 11th globally, just behind Bangkok and Jakarta. Despite Manila being one of the largest cities on the planet, there's still a major missing piece that could transform its already impressive skyline. Today, nearly every country has tall buildings dotting their skylines, and the Philippines is no exception. Cities like Makati, Ortigas, Alabang, Cebu, and Davao are packed with high-rise structures, but the construction doesn't stop there. Even beyond the major cities, the country is expanding its architectural footprint into the provinces, spreading progress nationwide. The skyline of Manila has evolved both horizontally and vertically over time. The larger Metro Manila area has experienced a real estate boom, with private developers driving much of the growth. This surge in construction is largely thanks to the country's solid economic foundation, which has fueled this skyscraper revolution. Yet, despite all the progress, many Filipinos, especially skyscraper enthusiasts, are still waiting for that one massive landmark tower to put the Philippines on the map of the world's top skylines. So, why does the Philippines still lack those iconic Supertall skyscrapers? But before we dive deeper, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe for more. Back in 1912, Manila began its journey toward urbanization, and that year saw the rise of the 8-story Manila Hotel. This iconic building is considered the Philippines' first modern high-rise, and its construction changed the face of the capital. It marked the start of Metro Manila's rapid transformation into a bustling metropolis. However, despite the surge in construction and the rise of high-rises, it wasn't until 1990 that the Philippines saw its first true skyscraper, something taller than 150 meters. That year, the 44-story Pacific Plaza condominium along Yala Avenue ushered in a new architectural era for Metro Manila, although it has since been outpaced by even taller and more impressive structures. The next big wave of high-rise development hit in the 1970s, with the rise of properties in Ortigas, Quezon City, Mandaluyong, and Pasig. This area, now a thriving business hub, saw significant investments, particularly from the Gokongwei Group. It became home to a number of shopping malls, BPO offices, and manufacturing facilities, all shaping the dynamic growth of Metro Manila. Makati City, known as the financial heart of Metro Manila, is home to some of the country's tallest and most impressive buildings. One standout is the Philippine Bank of Communications Tower, or PBCom Tower, which stood as the tallest building in the Philippines for 18 years. With a height of 259 meters from its base to the architectural top, it set a new standard for skyscrapers in the country. As Makati has rapidly grown, its skyline has been transformed, pushing aside the shorter buildings that marked the city's early stages of development in the 1960s and 1970s. The real boom came in the 1990s when construction height restrictions were relaxed, allowing for taller buildings to go up and expanding the available space on the original land. Nowadays, many of the new high-rises in Makati are around 45 stories tall, with the tallest reaching up to 52 stories. But the transformation isn't just happening in Makati. Over in Taguig, Bonifacio Global City, BGC, is undergoing a massive urban renewal. This area, once the site of the old Fort Bonifacio, or Fort McKinley, was privatized in 1992 and has since become a hotspot for modern architecture and development. Even though cities like Makati and Taguig have seen an explosion of new towers, none surpassed the 300-meter mark until 2008. That's when the federal government announced the construction of a 66-story skyscraper in Taguig, which would top PBCom Tower's height and take the title of the tallest building in the Philippines. The project was completed, and the Grand Hyatt Manila opened in 2018, standing at a towering 318 meters. To this day, it remains the tallest building in the country. As of June 2022, Makati leads the way, with 75 skyscrapers reaching at least 150 meters, followed by Taguig with 40 and Mandaluyong with 32. In terms of height, Grand Hyatt Manila holds the crown at 318 meters, followed closely by PBCom Tower at 258.6 meters and Trump Tower Manila at 250.7 meters, both in Makati. Despite other tall building projects in the works, none have yet surpassed the 300-meter mark since Grand Hyatt made its debut. The race to build the Philippines' first super-tall skyscraper kicked off in 1996 with the ambitious proposal for the Centennial Tower, also known as Luneta Tower. This mixed-use observation tower was initially planned for Rizal Park in Manila, but the idea quickly sparked controversy. Due to pushback over the proposed location, the project was later suggested for Pasig City instead. The tower was intended to be a grand memorial, celebrating the 100th anniversary of Philippine independence. At a staggering height of 390 meters, or roughly the equivalent of a 100-story building, the Centennial Tower would have been nearly twice as tall as the Rufino Tower, which was the tallest building in Metro Manila back in 1996. A 1996 report revealed that the tower was set to be funded and built by the German firm Walter Bau AG, with an estimated cost of around $200 million, about 200 million pesos, 5.2 billion pesos at the time. Walter Bau AG even promised that construction could be completed by 1998. However, the plans hit a roadblock when the administration of President Fidel V. Ramos hesitated to greenlight the project. The proposed location faced significant criticism, prompting the National Centennial Commission to shift the tower's site to a lot owned by the Metro Manila Development Authority, located at the corner of Julia Vargas and Meralco Avenues in Pasig, moving it away from the original controversial spot near Agrifina Circle. Sadly, the Centennial Tower never got off the ground, becoming the first big disappointment for Filipino tower enthusiasts. But hope wasn't lost. In the early 2000s, a new proposal emerged, Sky City. This ambitious project was planned to be an 80-story skyscraper in Mandaluyong City, a collaboration between real estate developer E. Ganson Incorporated and Sam Buena Realty Corporation. Sky City was projected to reach an impressive height of 335 meters, which would have made it the tallest building in the country. The plan was for it to be a mixed-use tower, with hotel rooms, office spaces, and residential units all in one towering structure. Unfortunately, construction came to a halt when a homeowners association from the nearby upscale Green Hills East Village filed a lawsuit, causing the project to be suspended. Another dream for a super-tall building in the Philippines was put on hold. On September 14, 2005, the Philippine Court of Appeals made a decision allowing the developers to resume work on Sky City. However, by 2008, the project was still at a standstill with only the excavation phase completed. Fast forward to 2010, when the Philippine Supreme Court's Second Division dismissed the objections from the Green Hills East Association, clearing the way for the developers to move forward. They announced that the project, now planned as a 77-story tower with 8 basements, would finally continue. But despite all the legal victories, the massive hole at the corner of Ortigas Avenue and EDSA still remains. The dream of Sky City, once envisioned as the tallest building in the Philippines, hasn't progressed much since then. In the late 2000s, another major skyscraper proposal grabbed attention, the Pagcor Tower. This was a bold plan for a 650-meter or 655-meter tall observation tower near Manila Bay in Parañaque, designed to be the centerpiece of the newly developing Pagcor City, also known as Entertainment City Manila. This was meant to be an integrated leisure hub, complete with hotels, shopping malls, convention centers, and casinos. If completed, the Pagcor Tower would have ranked as one of the tallest structures in the world. The project was spearheaded by Malaysian conglomerate Genting Berhad, but by 2010, when Cristino Noguet became chairman of Pagcor, the project was put on hold. Noguet suggested that the tower, along with other planned projects, might be scrapped, even though development on Entertainment City continued. The Pagcor Tower was designed to be the second tallest building globally, just behind Dubai's Burj Khalifa. However, it was ultimately abandoned. One key reason for the cancellation was the tower's proximity to Manila International Airport, which posed major challenges with height restrictions. While the Pagcor Tower never came to be, Entertainment City has since been home to the iconic Okada Manila Resort, a major part of the area's transformation. The Philippine Diamond Tower was a bold vision for the country, a proposed broadcast and observation tower that was set to rise in the heart of Quezon City, on the former Manila Seedling Bank site in North Triangle. The groundbreaking ceremony was originally slated for October 12, 2014, coinciding with Quezon City's 75th anniversary. Big things were expected, with construction planned to kick off in mid-2015 and the tower to be completed by 2019. Standing at 612 meters tall, the design of the Philippine Diamond Tower was symbolic. Its height was chosen to represent the Philippines' Independence Day, celebrated every June 12th. The tower was meant to become not just a marvel for the city, but for the entire nation, with plans to open to the public in 2018, just 3 years after breaking ground. This was meant to be more than just a structure. It was to be a landmark for the whole country. The project had the backing of city legislation that was designed to encourage its construction and make it a defining feature of the nation's skyline. Interest in the project was international. In February 2016, reports surfaced that the Japanese government was considering investing in the tower through the Corporation for the Overseas Development of Japan's ICT and Postal Services, along with a local partner. China, too, showed interest, with talks of a potential bid. The project was expected to cost a hefty 41.4 billion pesos, with completion set for 2019. But as ambitious as the plans were, the tower never got off the ground. Despite the excitement, construction never began. And like other grand proposals, such as the Centennial Tower and the Pagcor Tower, the Philippine Diamond Tower was ultimately shelved. The project was quietly cancelled for reasons that remain unclear, even as new technologies like digital terrestrial television and ISDBT started to reshape the country's media landscape. The dream of the Philippine Diamond Tower faded away, leaving only what could have been. The Icon Tower was an exciting proposal for Bonifacio Global City in Taguig, a skyscraper that caught everyone's attention with its sleek, modern design. Originally planned to soar to 308 meters, the tower's height was later revised to 275 meters, with 36 floors in total. Its striking elliptical cone shape was designed not only to stand out, but also to help make the building more resistant to earthquakes and typhoons, which are common in the Philippines. The Icon Tower's facade, with its almost Gothic exoskeleton supported by arches, was meant to give the building a bold yet elegant look. Inside, office spaces were designed to be bathed in natural light, and there were plans for social spaces, terraces, and open atriums that would create a vibrant environment for work and relaxation. The project was expected to be completed by 2021, but as of now, there's been no word on whether the Icon Tower will ever see the light of day. Meanwhile, in Puerto Princesa, Palawan, another ambitious project was proposed, the Princesa Tower. This mega-tall observation tower, planned to reach an astounding 680 meters, was envisioned as an international landmark for the city. The idea was first unveiled in September 2018 by the Puerto Princesa city government, eager to put the city on the global map. Plans called for the tower to be built at the Santa Lucia Environmental Estate, with discussions also considering a location in front of the new Green City Hall. But just like the Icon Tower, the Princesa Tower has yet to move forward, leaving the city's grand vision on hold. And down in Mindanao, another ambitious skyscraper was in the works. The SJS Maritime Empire Tower in Bislig, Surigao del Sur. Proposed by a European private investor, the tower was planned to rise 88 floors high, aiming to be completed within 5 years. Yet like the other projects, updates on this super tall structure have been quiet, with little news on whether it will ever come to life. Across the globe, we're entering what experts call the era of mega-tall buildings. According to the Council on Tall Buildings and Urban Habitats, the leading authority on skyscrapers. But for now, these towering dreams in the Philippines remain just that, dreams waiting for the day when the plans might become reality. Mega-tall buildings are defined as structures that rise higher than 1,968 feet. As of now, there are only 3 buildings in the world that fall into this category. The Burj Khalifa in Dubai, standing at a jaw-dropping 2,717 feet, is the tallest of them all and was completed in 2010. Then there's the Shanghai Tower in China, finished in 2015, reaching 2,073 feet, and the Makkah Royal Clock Tower in Mecca, Saudi Arabia, which stands at 1,972 feet and was completed in 2012. However, by 2020, the number of megatall buildings was expected to more than double, with several new projects nearing completion, including Shenzhen's Ping'an Finance Center, the Greenland Center in Wuhan, Merdeka PNB 118 in Kuala Lumpur, and the Kingdom Tower in Jeddah, Saudi Arabia, all of which are still under construction. In Southeast Asia, Malaysia and Vietnam are in a race to build these super tall structures, but the Philippines has yet to join the competition. So why does the Philippines lag behind in the skyscraper race? For one, the Philippines is hit by an average of 20 typhoons every year, with at least 5 of them being highly destructive. Building a super tall tower in a region so prone to violent storms is a massive risk. On top of that, the Philippines is located on the Pacific Ring of Fire, meaning earthquakes are a real threat. Metro Manila, the country's capital, lies on a fault line, which raises serious concerns about the safety of towering structures in such an area. Additionally, the Manila International Airport is located near several key business districts in the city, limiting the available space to build taller structures. And even if the space was available, the process of securing building permits in the Philippines is notoriously time-consuming, challenging and expensive, which makes it a huge hurdle for potential developers. Even though Metro Manila is the political and economic hub of the country, its urban planning is a mess. The city suffers from disorganized zoning laws and a lack of mobility, leading to heavy congestion and some of the worst traffic in the region. For businesses, this is a massive burden, making it harder to operate efficiently. Adding to the problem are the barriers to foreign direct investment in the country. In 2020, the Philippines ranked 3rd on the Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development's OECD Foreign Direct Investment Regulatory Restrictiveness Index, meaning it has one of the most restrictive investment climates in the world. Lastly, the Philippines struggles with some of the highest electricity rates in Asia. Businesses are particularly concerned about the rising costs of power and the frequent shortages, especially during the hot summer months. Studies have shown that electricity rates in the Philippines for residential, commercial, and industrial sectors are significantly higher, by as much as 25% to 87%, compared to its Southeast Asian neighbors, making it even more difficult for businesses to thrive. Corruption is a major issue in the Philippines, and it's something that many top business leaders feel needs to be addressed if the country wants to attract more foreign investment. In fact, more than 60% of the country's leading businessmen believe the government should prioritize fighting corruption over other reforms. This reflects a long-standing frustration in a country that's often seen as being plagued by a culture of corruption. On top of that, the country's lack of infrastructure to meet the demands of the growing business sectors is another major concern. When it comes to building super tall towers, the most important factor for investors is ensuring the building will actually be filled. After all, an empty skyscraper is a money pit. Securing tenants is a deal breaker. Without them, the investment is at risk. The timeline, efficiency, and costs of construction are also crucial. Super tall buildings can take more than a decade to finish, which increases the risk of market instability. Over the course of that long construction period, economic conditions can change, making it harder to guarantee a return on investment. While super tall towers can make a city look stunning and give it a unique identity, there are other, more efficient ways to drive growth and put a city on the map without relying solely on skyscrapers. In the Philippines, even though the country hasn't yet built a super tall tower, its economy has become one of the fastest growing in the world. This is especially clear with the rising industries across various regions. And with the upcoming completion of the new Manila International Airport, there's hope that we'll finally see the rise of an iconic tower in the capital, one that isn't restricted by height limitations. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you in the next video.